Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rhymes of the Times. I'm really excited to spend this time with you. And before I go into my poetry for today, I just want to take a minute to thank everybody who's been so encouraging of these videos that I'm posting on YouTube. I've had a lot of my friends who are poets on Poetry Soup write little encouraging messages, send me emails. I blogged about it, and a lot of the poets, really said encouraging words about the way the videos are done and about the poems themselves. I have some of my relatives from around the world who are sharing these videos on Facebook. I especially want to send out a shout out to my brother-in-law in Canada, Ashraf. Thank you so much for encouraging me and sharing the videos. And a special thanks goes to my daughter. I love you very much, Shireen. She's really been encouraging me, telling her friends about the channel, and her friends are just saying that they're enjoying the channel so much, the advice that they get. So I just want to thank everybody who's been encouraging me with sending me encouraging messages about Rhymes of the Times. Today I want to share with you a theme that's very dear to my heart, and that's romance. I wrote a poem like 2 years ago for a contest by a sponsor who is very, very meticulous and very exact, and he writes really well. So I was really encouraged to join the contest. It was set in medieval times. The contest was to be set in medieval times, as I said earlier, and it had to have knights and a castle and a dragon and a damsel in distress. The sponsor wanted the knight to have blue eyes. He had several specifications which were kind of, you have to work around them and try and see how you incorporate it in your poetry. But I thought, he's a good sponsor, he's fair, it's a theme that I like, so I'm going to try to write for it. And my poem won second place. Now when I go back over it, 2 years later, I see some of the meter wasn't quite right. So maybe that's why I got second place, or maybe he didn't notice and that's why I got second place. Maybe it would have done worse, but I don't know. I really, really like this poem, and I'm going to be dramatic as I read it, play the part of the drama queen, because it's like a story that's set in medieval times. The title of the poem is Redemption Night. He drove the wind on mighty steed, he drove it fast, to gain more speed, to win the maiden, noble deed, as he galloped in the night. He found his damsel in distress, with dragon claws clutching her dress, disheveled hair and heart distress, as he galloped within sight. One swift leap and he came aground, his rebel yell a mighty sound. Courage to fight in her he found, as he strode into her plight. She gazed at eyes of azure blue, a depth of love she never knew, for noble knight so brave and true, as she held on with her might. He sunk his sword into the hilt, and dragon blood to ground was spilled, caught the damsel about to wilt, as his valor set things right. In his strong arms she found her place, she gazed into his angel face, between their bodies not a space, as the night was tinged with light. He bowed his head to plant a kiss, a song of love, no dragon hiss, her world now filled with utter bliss, as to heaven they took flight. That was a poem that I really liked, and it got second place in the medieval contest by the sponsor Isaiah. A lot of times we think those were the days where, men were really men of courage and valor, and they had honor, and they stood up for what was true, and they would go and save the lady. And sometimes we think, where have all those men gone? Where are all the knights? Have they all disappeared? And so, just to change things up a bit, I later on wrote a poem called The Knights Are Dead. So listen to this poem, not read it, I'm going to read it. Listen to this poem and see what you think. At the end we're going to say, are there knights, even though they're not real dragons? Are there other kinds of dragons which are like problems or difficulties? Are women being put down from their place as independent if you think that damsel in distress, she needs some help, So I'm going to read this next poem to you. The knights are dead. The knights in shining armor have all died. The damsels in distress are left. Distress! What once was chivalry and manly pride, by silence in the fight is now expressed. Where are the men who knew the right from wrong, who'd come to save a weaker one from pain? Perhaps they have forgotten to be strong. Their pleasure and their peace they want to gain. And so they leave the wounded in the field, endeavoring to find what brings delight. Forgotten are the ones they were to shield. They leave them there to suffer through the night. You were a knight, but you are one no more. Those days are gone. They only live in lore. Interesting. Are the knights really all dead? Are there modern day knights who come to rescue the damsel in distress? Do women need rescuing? It's interesting. I think at times women are the ones who go rescue the men. But I think sometimes deep in your heart, you really need a man to be there to say, I will protect you, I will care for you. Even though you can do all those things on your own, it's nice for him to say it. I hope you enjoyed this little segment, which was all about romance and a look at, olden times and modern times and a comparison. And I hope that in your life you do have a knight in shining armor. Whether you're a man or a woman, it's nice to help those who are in distress and who need help. And the dragon can be anything. It's symbolic for problems that you have, insecurities, maybe some psychological problems that you're dealing with. And sometimes it's really good to know that even though you may not overcome them, there's somebody who will help you see it through. And so, dear viewers, if you've enjoyed this little program, please don't forget to subscribe and even press that like button. It will make me so happy. Thank you very much. See you next time.